All right, QQQ and SPY had the most craziest drop today, like unexpected to pretty much anybody in the market except the market makers as always. But why this drop happened was because of the news from China that came out, which was the restriction in the chip, something related to like the AI chips or something. I didn't look into it, but that's why a lot of this down price action started in the pre-market here, which pretty much began this big gap. Market opened up, and right over here was this trend line. This was the thing I was pointing out to you guys in the Discord. This trend line here on QQQ was the line that needed to hold, right? And you can see during that time, SPY was trying to hold this golden pocket. SPY was looking a lot better than QQQ. Again, big tech is weak. And that's why, again, your Nvidia, your Amazon, they're really weak, right? So that's why tech, QQQ, NASDAQ in general is just really weak. So what was happening during this time when this trend line was just going over and under and it was testing it? And I said to you guys, it was like looking really weak over here versus SPY was trying to hold up. But once SPY pulled back, like then QQQ started breaking down here with this candle. It actually lost this golden pocket as well over here on this candle, and then SPY over here lost its golden pocket at the same time. So both looking really bearish, right? So that's why I took the short positions today, because I was targeting 482 to 480. Why I was thinking these two levels, again, those are the big major levels. You had major weakness in the market, and why, again, this trend line. Let me show you this trend line on QQQ here. Where does it come back from? All the way back here. And lo and behold, it tested it. And that was pretty much the last line that bulls needed to hold. But since they couldn't, that was your opportunity to short. And I think I mentioned to you guys that once this was breaking down, I said short Q. That's literally all I said. So ultimately, we did take a position, 482 puts with printed beautifully. It actually hit target like on the dot, guys. My targets are really just based off of just me looking at the chart and making sure that it's the best possible accurate level that has the highest chance of hitting. And typically they hit, right? If you guys have been following along in the Discord, you already know how accurate they can be. And SPY here also started breaking down here. We were focusing on Q here, but during this period of SPY, starting to, QQQ and SPY caught this bottom here, started to catch a bounce back up, right? And at that point, I entered those 480 puts. Now, a couple of reasons why. Again, market weakness, right? There was possibility that there could have been a more further push down on a break of this very key level. There's a lot of dark pool activity here on QQQ as well as SPY here. So very strong support, and I made it clear to you guys. Some of the trade that I took was a very high risk trade, right? You never want to take positions unless you are comfortable, depending on your risk tolerance, to take a certain position, and just taking it accordingly based off of that, right? So that's why you got to be careful on certain type of plays that you guys take, even if you guys do follow me. But we ultimately, so what was happening here with SPY as it was creating this bear flag, and let me show you SPX really quickly. SPX also had this key area breakdown of this 5600 level. This is the golden pocket, and I mentioned to you guys, showed you guys, let me just remove this full screen mode here. But you see right over here, this is the puts that were coming in, and this was around like 220-ish that they started coming in one by one. And you could see how much premiums they had, 850K. This one had 9 million almost, 180K, 4.2 million. These are big orders. Look, total of like 57 million worth of puts, like very bearish, right? So when I saw this, and then when I looked at SPX, where it was, and it was retesting this golden pocket, there was one of two things that could have happened at this point. Either all of this put were hedges, which wouldn't really make sense for every single one of these to be hedges, and the fact that if they were hedges, that market was beginning to look for a move up at this point on SPX. So the fact that it was here, I had only one logical explanation for this, and that it was just a retest of this level into breakdown, which look what it did. It did do that, right? And look what was a SPY doing at the time. It was creating this bear flag, and that's why I held on to those puts. 1DT might have been better, right? A little bit more safer in that sense. But again, everybody's risk is different again. But this is why I held those puts, right? Because you were printing a bear flag. There were a lot of shorts piling in on SPX, and I was looking at SPY as well, and QQQ. The market's just weak in general. Like you have, and you're looking at VIX over here. So let me point out VIX really quickly, because there was this big breakout over here that I already told you guys this since last week. This thing was ready to go, and ultimately it had to go, and look where it tested. Golden pocket, right? They can't make this up. So you had all those confluences, and ultimately SPY right now has broken down from this bear flag here. Now if I pull up the after hours, I believe there was a bit of a curl up here in the after hours, which again, like that's what I was kind of expecting. There would be some type of a rebound, but again, with after hours, sometimes take it with a grain of salt. Is nothing like guaranteed with this. There's a lot of funny business that goes on in the after hours, only to like completely get wrecked the next day. But anyways, take it with a grain of salt. Right now, SPY has broken down from this bear flag. This either is going to be a confirmation for more further downside coming tomorrow, and this is my downside. What that's looking like, what I mentioned to you guys in Discord, is that it's going to test this trend line down here. And this is like around 552, 553-ish is going to be this test if there is to be a further breakdown here, right? The reason why I have this trend line there, again, this is coming from way back here, and that's going to be a very significant area. You have your 100 SMA here as well on the 1 hour. And on the daily, again, very bearish. Like you got a very big breakdown today. So again, you got a couple of things to look out for. Your 9 EMA has also been flipped bearish. So again, you have bearish confluences. The reason, again, going back to the news, I think that market might be, might have overreacted to this news. I don't know the exact, the extent of how the seriousness of what this is, but I think if the only bullish case I can come up with is that the market will have an overreaction, or this was an overreaction, and it will catch a bounce. And if it does catch a bounce, for SPY, I mentioned to you guys already, this trend line might get tested if there is to be a further breakdown. You got to get through these key, very heavy dark pool air level right here, which is 555, and then ultimately test this sometime tomorrow or this week. Who knows, right? Just be prepared for the downside. Upside, you got to clear this golden pocket, this 559 level here. If I pull up the extended hours, we can see SPY is just making its way up. Like it's already at 558.11, so it's working its way up. But again, just you got this big gap fill here, so you got to clear this 559 level, and then you could look for potentially going for reversal to the upside. It's for QQQ, just very similarly going to follow each other here at this point. But again, if tech is still weak, and I'm going to get into IWM right now, but if tech is still weak, like this could just be a dead cat bounce going into tomorrow. And then QQQ is going to ultimately come down to this 480 level. This is the big number I was looking for today, but hasn't gotten tested. May not get tested if we're going to bounce, but just be prepared for tomorrow, because the 480 level is still a very real possibility. You had this breakdown here of the support here, which was the key support we were looking at, right? So SPY and QQQ currently still bearish. If there is to be a bounce, there's going to be a test of this 485 level, which is pretty much your golden pocket, right? This was a very key area that it broke down from. There's a gap over here to potentially fill, so look out for all of that. And yeah, let me go into IWM, because the reason why IWM also had a bit of a pullback today. So what was happening with IWM? It looks very bullish, just mind you, right? It looks very clean. Today was the first red day after a week of straight green. And now it's gotten it's a shooting star candle, which is a bearish indicator for a potential reversal to the downside. Again, it's just a one confluence, right? Don't take one candle, just because it looks like this, as oh, it's coming breaking down now. No, so this is what's happening with IWM. You're looking at potentially, again, this was a very key area, this 223 level here, which it couldn't hold, and now it's under it. 9 EMA crossing down. So as of right now, 221.60-ish needs to hold. Otherwise, it's going to break down and fill some of its gaps. Yes, IWM is still looking bullish. However, again, it just can't go up forever, right? We almost tested 227 today on that pump, and just kind of just broke down after that and stayed down. Just again with the whole market, it is what it is, right? If you're gonna get macro type of news like that, nothing is spared. Nothing, unless you got some other special stocks out there. But most stocks are not gonna survive some type of news event. So this is what you're looking at on IWM. Upside targets, you need to reclaim this. Get over VWAP will be good at the first step, and then clearing 223.82, this level right here, will be key. Then we could potentially continue upward towards 230, 229 to 230, right? You got this 226 level first. But I think, again, just from a macro perspective, I think it can still go up to 235, even 240 at this point, right? You have your golden pocket up here at 234-ish. So if you're going to be bullish on IWM, make sure you buy time, and you can target 235 to 240. Tesla. Big bull trap on Tesla. Remember, there was a breakout happening. There was so much funny business going on in the last few days with the market in general, like QQQ, giving these false signals that there could be some type of upside, which there was no real confirmation, right? So this is what happened with Tesla. It just gave you this breakout right over here, this indicator that was going to break out, but look at that. Breakdown just broke down in the after hours, in pre-market, caught the biggest bounce, right, and then just continued breaking down. So as of right now, Tesla's not looking too good. Needs to hold this 246 level here for more continuation to the upside. Otherwise, it could just continue breaking down here. Again, this is part of the big tech, right? So, and at the same time, Tesla does have a mind of its own, so it can kind of do its own thing. But just be mindful, if this breaks down, this 240, again, this trend line is coming from way back there. It's a very key area right here. So 240, if this gets tested and broken, then you're looking at maybe bearishness. You could come down to test 230-ish, 235-ish. But anyways, right now it's still, kind of precarious. It's with market weakness. So just look out for those downside targets. Upside targets, I think, again, you could probably see, you need to recover this 255 level here, 256-ish, and then ultimately you could probably test 260s and then 267, this golden pocket here. All right, and coin here. Coin actually looks really good. It looked very sketchy, and again, crypto market, I think, is catching a dump right now. Let me just look at Bitcoin really quickly. Where is Bitcoin right now? And Bitcoin is still in this bull flag here. So again, caught a nice bounce, Bitcoin, and then now it's just still looking to potentially test this trend line here. Once it gets this trend line test here, you got to look for maybe a possibility that could break out. Until then, right now, just with the market just pulling back, crypto is, I guess, taking a bit of a hit on it. But let me go back to coin here, and why coin actually looks really still looking okay, because, and just bear with me with the lines. Again, just with my lines, I can the more accurate they are, the better it is for you guys to understand. But here's why coin was looking pretty good right now. Again, during the pre-market yesterday, it was in the overnight session, it was clearing this trend line here. This is the pennant, right, that I was pointing out to you guys. The fact that it got over this pennant here was a very clear indicator that it was looking for a breakout. Well, guess what? It was not a breakout. It was pretty much bull trap people that went long here, and now it's they're kind of just holding this right now. But what was happening today with coin was the fact that it got this breakdown here. Again, market weakness. Broke down this key macro 247 level here. This is the one that I mentioned to somebody in the Discord that if this broke down, that's your first line in the sand, meaning that you should probably think that maybe it could go lower, or it has to catch a bounce here. But lo and behold, market was breaking down. Coin was also breaking down, and right over here I mentioned 242 was your probably your end of the world line. Like if that broke, then 236 is probably gonna come next, and again that would be your macro golden pocket over here. But it didn't, right? It caught this 242 bounce, and during this time when it was down here, it was, everybody was just kind of panicking. Nvidia, let me point this out really quickly because Nvidia was also hit, broke down from this trend line here. And again, this is something I drew from way back somewhere, but tested. It was right over here, broke down along with the rest of QQQ and everything, and then started testing this golden pocket here. So Nvidia was also down over here at the risk of breaking its golden pocket, and then coin was also at the risk of breaking its golden pocket, and then you had QQQ during that time. I believe was right over here at this very key area. This was around like 1 o'clock, and that's when market caught that bounce, right? So that's when that big moment was, when I mentioned that maybe this could have been the bottom, and we made like near 100% on that QQQ play, that this could have been the bottom here. So when you see stuff like that, right, everything just kind of ends up at key levels at the same time. Either it's going to break or it's going to bounce, right? So guess what happened? It bounced. So that's what happened with coin here. It caught a bounce, and ultimately it did on this last candle here before the market closed. And again, this is a 4 hour here, but this was the last 4 hour candle that had held above this 247. So it's starting to look really good again, and you need once again to clear this 252 to 53 level, which is this golden pocket. And once you do that, again, you got to have a candle close. You need your confirmation closes, and then you can look for upper targets as high as in the near future. I think 300 can come. And with crypto, bull flag on the Bitcoin breaking out, which I can show you right over here, right? You got this big breakout looming near the future. Bitcoin can send as high as 75,000, right? That'll be new all-time highs, and then 80,000 after that. This level will be very key for Bitcoin. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Nvidia, right now it's again with very similar to QQQ, very weak, just part of the big the big tech companies. So if QQQ and the rest of the market, I can show you the after hours right now, that it did catch a bounce here. So right now this is going to be the big level that bulls will need to hold, right? So I mean it makes sense that it's bouncing here because the golden pocket always just does that kind of stuff. But anyways, it did catch the bounce in the after hours, but still this is the risk. You have a very big dark pool level here, golden pocket. So right now Nvidia needs to reclaim this trend line here, basically getting over this 121 level first, and then reclaim this trend line sometime tomorrow to potentially look bullish, and then the market might look bullish with QQQ potentially reclaiming this golden pocket here. Maybe they could do it at the same time, who knows, right? But that's Nvidia. Hood still looking good. I alerted this to you guys as a swing play, so still needs to work its way up here, but like I said, 30 to 40 in the future probably possible. It actually held really well today, and despite the market doing its crazy business, but it held up very nicely, so good on that. Silver SLV, this is the one that just this and Carvana were the two plays that just completely got wrecked. They look really good setups here, cup and handle, this is so close to breaking out. Again, this is why I say, like, when you swing, you're at the mercy of news, right? Which can come, you never know when they come. And this is a clear example of that happening, right? The market looked ready to go up, continuous upside, and then it just happens, right? So just make sure you're always aware of that. Never over leverage your positions, because if you were in silver, right over here was where where we took the cut over here, and then Carvana pretty much similar. When QQQ was just breaking down, that was a signal, right? QQQ and SPY were breaking down. That was just like, all right, just you got to get out at this point, right? So that's why you need to manage your risk on silver at certain points. Whenever you see what the macro, the market is doing in general. But right now, silver is looking pretty bearish, along with Carvana. It's rising wedge breakdown, very textbook look over here. So again, at this point, these are pretty much not valid. But if market can recover, we are still above this bull flag here. But if silver, I think, might want a retest of this bull flag, which is going to come down as low as like 27, which would make sense for it to come and retest it. It never retested it, but if it does, then we'll see how it works out. But till then, just leave it alone. GME is looking still like, again, probably got hit, but it was looking pretty good during the entire market, and then the very last minute, market just like dumped it down back to its 27. Well, dipped it down to 27ish, and then it's holding up still, and the daily looks pretty okay still, like just working, just getting its way up onto these other levels up here. But right now GME is it needs to get back over this 2850 level, and then you could look for potential more upside in the near future. INTC was a play that I called last week. Congrats to you guys, for taking that one, honestly, and banking like near 150%, I think. Well, INTC basically was holding up really well, had a nice push up, and then ultimately tested this 3710. If you guys had these levels ahead of time, this would have been a very key area to have managed risk on INTC. And congrats to you guys for banking on this one. This was a very nice play here, swing play, worked out, and yeah. But other than that, guys, if you have any questions, if you guys want to join the Discord, link is in the description, and I'll see you guys next time.